Good morning and welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries today, Monday the 5th of May. I'm Marie here for another new week. Welcome along. So nice to see you all this week. Quite full on around here today, so there's going to be comings and goings, so don't worry about it. We like that. Here's Madam. I just said, I know. Claire's just like, what? I know. And I forgot my laptop again. It's just, sign of the times, I tell you. I'm actually surprisingly organised for today, which goes against normal core logic for me on a Monday, I have to admit. But it was quite funny. I often get in here a good hour or 90 minutes before everybody else, and I do that because I have some quiet time and I can have a dig around and come up with all these things too. So when poor old Claire arrives at 9 o'clock after dropping the kids at school, I'm full of ideas of a Monday and drive her crazy for the next hour. Don't I? Yeah. And you love it. It's the favourite part of your week. I know it is. But to be fair, and we were talking about this morning. It is. I mean, we had Epic Sale. Over a month ago now. But it has taken so long to get to a point where we kind of now feel like that we've gotten on top of everything since the Epic Sale, and it's been bonkers. I mean, it really has. And we've got obviously new yarn coming in because it's our winter season, coming into our winter season here, and there is so much. Going on. So much going on. To the point, though, I'm quite proud of myself. I actually have knitting to show you, and I remember to bring it this week. I forgot to bring this on Thursday when Ethan was here. But that's right. I can save this for next time to show him. But I got stuck in over the weekend. I actually had some time on Saturday where I was able to sit down and actually get some work done on my current project, which hasn't happened for ages. So this is what I'm working on. As you can see, well-loved pattern. So, this is retro now, since these aren't in print anymore. Interweave Knits. This one is Winter 2017. And it is the Limerick Henley. So there it is there. So that is what I'm doing for my husband. If you can buy these issues digitally, though, that is no problem. If you are wanting to do, I have to admit, I used to subscribe to this magazine when I divested myself of a whole heap of them, but I did keep a number of them, and not a huge number, about half a dozen or so, over years and years and years of subscribing. And this was one of them. And it's actually little seasonal compatriot, the spring 2017. I kept that too. That's what the Point Judith pullover was in. And part of the reason I kept this one was because of this whiskey and wool collection, which it had with these incredible Arons and Fair Isles. Look at these. And all of these are so classic, but they all work incredibly well with yarns that we already have. And so, I love that tunic for me. I'd wear that comfortably. So many, but this was the other one. Now, this is the Donegal Sweater, knitted in Donegal Soft, which is our Kelly & Co. So there is... Yeah, it's an absolute cracker. So you can buy this from interweaveknits.com in a digital format. So that is still available. So I've been working on that. And last time I mentioned it to Ethan, I'd had a crack at it and I had gotten to the sleeve. So when I spoke to him, I had about that much of the sleeve left to do. And as you can see, very little left. So I now have 2 sleeves. So there they are, sleeve number 2. I haven't even checked to see to make sure they're the same size. They should be. I followed the pattern. All the numbers worked out, the maths worked out, so that's always a good place to start. Oh yes, look. It's always handy, isn't it? So we know that's going to fit. But more importantly, so this is the back. There. more importantly, I started on the front. So I ended up so I started on the front. I think I mentioned this the other week. I started on the front, and I had stuck because it's got this fantastic ribbing, 2x2 rib, and it's a slip stitch rib, which is a way of creating. It's actually a form of double knitting, and it's brilliant. I love it. I love it. In fact, it's a ribbing that I think I'm going to steal for some other projects I might do. It creates this beautiful structured rib that just sits, and it's got purchase, and it's fabulous. Love it. But I loved it so much that when I was knitting it about 2 weekends ago, and I was knitting merrily down the stream I go, and didn't realize that I knitted way more ribbing than I actually needed. And then I tried ripping it back, and because it's actually double layered, trying to do it was just an absolute nightmare. So in the end, after faffing about for about half an hour and lifelines and all the rest of it, I thought, oh, this is freaking ridiculous, Marie. You've only just started. Put your big girl pants on and rip back. So I did. And now I have gone again. And as you can see, I'm now back up into the pattern. It's called Diamond Jubilee, which I have to admit I quite like. It's good. And so, yes. So now that I'm into this pattern portion, which takes up sort of much, it's actually nice. Like I don't require the pattern to know what I'm doing. You just read your knitting and you go for it. And it is lovely. And this is in Remore and Kelly & Co., which, of course, I knitted the Nook in. And my husband chose the colour. So, yeah, we're going to be matchy-matchy. But there you go. Angela is asking, when you knit in pieces, do you block before joining the seams or after? What's the best stitch you're joining seams? Great question, Angela. I do both, actually. What I do before seaming this is that I will steam it. So I will take a steam aisle and actually flatten everything out. You can do a complete block, and I know that the Point Judith pullover, actually, Brenda, who is in the Skeinz Speakeasy, she has just completed hers, and she blocked everything beautifully prior to seaming. So it is a preference thing. I personally just prefer to steam mine. So I block it out and steam it, and then I seam it, and then I'll look at it again once it's completed in structure. And sometimes I find that it may need, depending on the fibre and how everything sits with the seams, it will need a wet block again. And then I will do a full soak wet block and lay it out. But to be honest, particularly with something heavily cabled, if you're going to do a wet block, doing your wet block first before you're seaming is actually quite advisable, particularly because of those seams. So yeah, and in terms of what I use to seam, mattress stitch every time. Always use mattress stitch. You do get, she has designed this pattern so one of the reasons you can tell a pattern is well written, or you've got a designer who's used to knitting and designing in pieces, is they will often leave you a selvage. And see, like this is a really good, not all of them do. And I know Ethan is really hot on this, but this is a really good idea. So this is the decrease. It's a really interesting decrease. It's not what you would normally expect, but you probably can't see it. But can you see the selvage there? She's actually designed it with a selvage in there. So when it comes to sewing this up, you've actually got that selvage there to be able to easily, it's like a roadmap, basically. It gives you a roadmap of what you needed to do. And it's lovely. So that definitely helps too. So I'm really enjoying it. Could you show the seam blocking when you, could you show us your seam blocking when I do it? Oh, I mean, actually, I just get the iron. Honestly, Andrea, I just get, I've got two actually. I've got the iron, which I have at home, or am I going to get the other one? It's sitting here. Because it boomeranged back to the office. I put it back. after it was on holiday at someone's.
I burnt myself trying to. Don't use it while you've got clothes on. I was trying to be quick in the morning. It's not
yeah, it didn't work, did it?
No.
See what I have to tolerate. So this is a handheld steamer. I think I bought this window. I was like $35 or something at Kmart. And you can get ones that come on a stand as well, but I just grabbed this handheld one. So it doesn't hold, it hasn't got a huge reservoir on it, but it's brilliant. And it does the trick beautifully. So this I find really good. Or if I'm at home, I just use my steam iron. And I don't press obviously the iron to the garment. I hold it about 2 inches above the garment and just push the seam through. A mattress stitch lesson when you see hubby's jersey. Actually, I could get on to doing that. Actually, I could do a mattress stitch one, because one of the things I know with this is I won't seam it together using Kelly & Co yarn. I'll probably seam it together using something like this, the Flight DK. So the color is very, very close, but the yarn is smooth, whereas the Kelly & Co, as you see, is quite textured. So when it comes to seaming, it can be a little bit textured. The other thing too is this is a worsted spun yarn, so it's a bit stronger than the Kelly & Co for a seam. So it will be nice and strong as well. So that's what I will use. But yeah, I could actually, Angela, I could do a little vid. I know Ethan is so much better. I leave these to him usually because he's so much better than I am. How is it best to go about seaming on the sleeves of my Redford? I'm nearly finished the knitting and realised it's not just straightforward seaming process to do the side panels. Honestly, Abby, definitely with Redford, I would. I know Ethan didn't block his first, but that's Ethan, because he knows where he's at. One of the things about blocking your pieces first is it does sit everything out, and it allows you to see what it is you're doing when it comes to your seaming. So. And in fact, where's the sleeve I've just finished? It is not that one, it's this one. And I can show you with this, so you could probably see, can you see? Yeah, you can actually. You can kind of see, well, not very clearly on the camera, but there's a sort of slight visual line there of that's the portion that didn't get blocked because I'd steamed this while it was on the needle. But what you can see is just on the edge, this is all very, very curly and wobbly up here, whereas this portion here is sitting quite nice and flat, and that's because it has been it has had a steam treatment. So, yeah, Pat's saying she puts a damp tea towel on the pieces before ironing and steaming. There's loads of different ways to do it. There is loads of different ways to do it. But that is what I'm doing with that. So, as you can see, I'm making some progress. And the nice thing about that is I haven't finished the scrappy blanket. That's just been popped to one side. I've got my Mojo back now. The Mojo went on holiday there for a bit, but it's back and it's happy. And I'm now quite determined to get this done because I did the sleeves first before I did the front. I know that once I get the front done, I'm kind of in the homeward stretch and I've only just got a collar to finish up, which is shouldn't take too long at all. So I'm quite determined to get that knocked off, and I want it so he can have it for this coming season to wear. So that's what I'm up to. So I'm quite excited about that. It's all very good. Right, on to the topic of this morning. You can laugh. So as you can see, I'm wearing a hat today. It is cool here in the morning. It is going to warm up throughout the day here, but I love wearing hats. It's great for a bad hair day, which is what we've got today. But what I got inspired about the hats is I arrived this morning and we've had some yarn, which we've had sitting here for a little while, actually since a couple of months, and we don't have a lot of it. And it is a trial technique that we've been playing around with at the dye house. And so it's come through, and they use the base yarn that they used for the trial was our Naked Skeinz machine washable DK. So they're already in these gorgeous hanks. And many of you picked up the dip and mix prints that we had in balls, and we had those during the epic sale. I think there might be one colour with some left. We've got a whole bunch of rats and mice of those actually in the shop here. So if you're a local, they've just gone into the shop this morning. But we had 3 dips. The first 3 dips were done a different way to the second lot of dips, sort of 4 through 7. And the first 3 are stunning, like absolutely stunning. Whether or not we're going to continue to replicate these in the future, I really personally hope so. I know Claire really hopes so. We need to convince the Dye House team that it's worth the time and faffing around to do it, because we just think the effect is to die for. And this is them here. And as you can see, they're beautiful. So they are all hand dipped, so hence the time. So this is vastly more labour intensive than our normal process. But as you can see, they are amazing, absolutely amazing. So these are dips. That's dip 2. So this is dip 1, which is sort of blues and blacks. Dip 2 is this deeper sort of purplier shade. And dip 3 is this really sort of fun blue and coral and black, and it's just gorgeous. I've gone and loaded those up. They're on the sale page now, and you'll see there are multiple. When you actually click onto the yarn, you'll see there are multiple pictures there, and that is because that's the colour swing and shift across each dip, because every single skein is completely unique. Absolutely unique, which is what brings me to the hats, because these are the perfect sort of yarns to use for a hat, because a single skein will give you a new hat. And it also coincided with Libby's new hat pattern Carnival that was released last week. And I know a number of people will be looking for yarns to knit for a hat. So I thought I would talk about hats today. I know I've talked about them during the quarantine diaries, but I love hats, and I love them because they're a really enjoyable thing to knit. They are a project where you can test out new skills. So if you haven't tried a certain skill, like there might be a different stitch pattern, or some traveling stitches, or some cabling, or whatever it may be, it can be a really good way to actually brush up on your skills in a smaller project before you dive into something bigger. Or you have these little unicorn skeins. I mean, I'm just leaning over to... There we go. That's a really classic example. I've just leaned over to... I've got a big pile of stash just here. You know, I mean, that's a Malabrigo. That's a single lonely Malabrigo that I have. Well, that'll probably end up in a hat. Actually, it would go quite well with that, wouldn't it? It's great for these impulse buys that you've got floating around in your stash, and you think, I bought it because I loved it, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Hat is what you want to do. So those are listed now. They're $14.95. They're up on the sale page now. But I thought I would show you some hats that would look really incredible. So let's just jump straight into here. So I've jumped on the RAV because it's the easiest place for me to start. And let's start with Carnival from Libby. So this is it here. Now Libby has used actually the gorgeous yarn from Lynn Walsh at Fibre to Go. We love Lynn, and we love Lynn's yarn and Lynn's dyeing. And as you can see, this hat is so much fun. It is a mixture of some patterned stitches here and these gorgeous, gorgeous fun bobbles. And what I love about this pattern is that, this is a really nice looking little bobble. Not all bobbles are. And I'm going to show you another actually bobbly pattern, but not quite so bobbly as this one in a second. But they're really, really fun. Lots of texture, which means that the colour in those, any of yarn that you may have a single skein of, you will get lots of light and dark and textures with those colours. And she's designed it so you can either do it in a pom-pom like she has here, or not everybody is a pom-pom person. And she's also gone and designed this really cute little I-cord flower, which you can do instead. Isn't that pink so pretty? It's super, super pretty. It is a really, really fun little hat. The sizing is available from small all the way through small, medium, and large. So it'll be children all the way through to adults. It is knitted in one piece, but it is an absolutely whimsy. Yeah, she's saying more whimsy to you day. It is. It is fun, and it is perfect for those single skeins of yarn using between 140 and 187 meters, which is one 100-gram skein of DK white yarn. So it's absolutely perfect. So that is certainly a pattern, if you're looking for a new hat pattern, that I would recommend. The next one, actually, and I'm just going to show it to you here without showing it to you on the I can show it to you on the rev. What am I talking about? Take me two seconds to look it up. Since we're on the bobble train. And it should come up. Oh gosh, I honestly I do not know why it's defaulting to that. It's driving me bonkers. There it is. I've talked about this hat before. Look at that. That's my one, I think. I've got a funny feeling. There we go. This is the beautiful Kiwi hat by Charles Gandy. Charles designed this because he saw this is the Auckland Clock Tower at Auckland University, and as you can see, these beautiful motifs, and he wanted something to reflect the tower, and I think he's done an incredible job at doing that. Now, I test knitted that hat for Charles back in the day, and I used what I used was black pearl actually, and I think we called it Rocky Shore. Did we call it Rocky Shore? No, we didn't. I can't remember. Sparrow it was, black pearl and sparrow, which was a twist on twist yarn. It had lots of bulk and it was quite. This is knitted on it's 3.5 millimeter needle, and he'd initially designed this pattern when he first did it. He initially designed it on Outlaw Bohemia Light because he'd been given some from Deb, and he really wanted to see how it would perform, and he loved it, absolutely loved it. I wanted to do it over a DK yarn at that firmer tension with those twisted travelling stitches to see what it would look like, because when you've got those reversible twisted travelling stitches, you want them to really pop and speak, and it did. So if you've got pearl, if you've got a couple of balls of pearl floating around, either pearl or black pearl in your stash from when we've had that in stock, that yarn is perfect for this. Also too, our orb is perfect for this. But this is the Bohemia version. Now, this is on the Bohemia Light, and honestly, I can tell you, wearing this is like wearing a cloud. It is utterly beautiful. As you can see, all the detailing is still there, including these really cute, sweet little bobbles at the top. Just gorgeous. And you could do this on Bohemia Light. This colour is, I want to say Tiffin, it's not, and if Deb, you're there, you'll be able to tell me what it was. I can't quite remember. But we do have a close to, which is Imperial, which is just a wee bit jadier than this. But this is definitely the Kiwi hat in this for a beautiful, soft, unctuous hat would be amazing. 3.5 millimeter needle, so absolutely perfect for Bohemia Light. So for a finer weight hat, and in fact, as I said, I've knitted it on a DK, and it looks amazing. Tarnished, thanks, Deb. I knew I'd remember. I couldn't remember the name. Tarnished. But I can tell you right now, you can't see. Oh, there you go. You can see it there with the camera. See the possum blooming? And this is so soft, like honestly, it will be like wearing a cloud. So this one is Imperial. I adore Imperial. It's one of my favourite colours in the range at the moment. That would be a really lovely option for that. So those are those. What I'm wearing right now is... Actually, before I jump on, we'll talk about this now. What I'm wearing right now is, I've shown you this one many times before. This is the Ivy Trellis hat from Botanical Knits 2 from Milana Dacos. Is also available on Ravelry. I knitted this when actually we had the first release of Chatswood in Somerset, and I've got two of these. I also knitted this in what was our silver lining, but it would be perfect in flight naturals of DK. But it would also work in so many other yarns because of the cabling, of the travelling stitches, and these beautiful leaves. I love this hat. I really do. I thresh it. I wear it. I adore it. I love it. It's a nice hat to knit. It's a really easy pattern to follow. It looks complicated. Believe me, it's not. It is just a series of repeats. The crown shaping is really clever and well thought out in terms of the travelling. It's super, super pleasant to do, and it knits up in a DK yarn. So it uses a 3.75 and a 4mm needle, circular needle, which is perfect for any 1,000,001 DKs you may have lurking around. 2 balls of a because it is just a little over 2, about 1.5 balls of a DK, or one of these. That is definitely worth checking out. And from the same book, if you choose to download, if you go to Alana's website, which is called Never Not Knitting, I think you can still get the full digital edition from her. In the same, this is version 2, book 2, is this hat here called Thicket. I've knitted this as well, actually, funnily enough, in silver lining, which the flight naturals will work perfectly for. This is another really lovely one. Wee bit easier again than Ivy Trellis, but it's just a really pretty hat, and I thresh this one's at home and I absolutely thresh it. This book, I have to say, this she's got the 2 books, the original and version 2. I have to say version 2 of the 2 of them is my favorite. I've knitted so much out of this. I've also knitted where is the there is a there we go. I've also knitted the fingerless mitts there as well, and yeah, and that cardigan's gorgeous too. This one, I love that, really pretty. Right, so that is definitely another option for you. I saw you, Barbara. Yes, you are there, Barbara. Thinking Cat for Truly Myrtle is a great intro to colour work. Well, fancy you should mention that, Barbara, because here it is here, and in fact this was sample knitted for us by Barbara. So, and she's right, it is a great pattern. This is called The Thinking Cat by Libby, came out last year. It is an excellent introduction to colour work and getting used to holding your strands. This is knitted in Bandit, and it's great. I grabbed this because the colours are now back available. It's knitted in Intrepid, which is that one there, the fabulous Intrepid, and now Rascal is the other colour as well in there. So Intrepid and Rascal, don't they look fantastic? This is definitely well worth checking out, and it's a really fun hat. You could add a pom-pom to it. You could keep it plain. It suits anybody. It's a nice firm fitting wee cap. Awesome gift, and it's perfect if you've got 2 single balls of a colour lurking around, and you've got those 2 lone soldiers left over at the end of a project, and you think to yourself, what am I going to do with them? This is ideal. So that's the Thinking Cat from Truly Myrtle. Now, I've been looking for things too. I know I had this question. Sue saying, how do we do the Kiwi hat pattern by Charles? Not obvious on Rav. Oh, okay. It did go a bit funny. Hold on, I'll copy it in now. Oh no, hold on, there we go. I've just gone and popped that into the comments, which will pop up both on, it should pop up both on Facebook and YouTube for that. Right. Awesome. Okay, next. I wanted to have a look at some hats that will work really, really well with Kelly & Co. And the reason for that is I know a number of you are really itching to try this, but it is $24.95 a skein. So, you're not necessarily going to leap out and buy a pack of 10 without having a little bit of a play around with it first. I can get that. Or you've bought some, you've got it, and you've got a skein left over. What are you going to do? So this is 190 meters per 100 gram hank. I would knit something like this, absolutely no problem. I have knitted and played around with this on various tensions, including a 4mm. I find a firmer tension in the hat is fabulous. So any DK hat pattern that I have already mentioned, aforementioned, would look amazing in this. But I did look up a couple of hats that I think would also work really well, and I've gone and picked this one up. Oh, there it is. This is one that we've actually had a sample in the shop, and it is knitted on a 10-ply, and we've got it as a sample for our Vintage Abroad. It's called the February hat. It's a free pattern, and it's by Kate, is it Gagan Osborne? And it's a great little hat. As you can see, it's sort of just simple little stitch patterning. It's really fun to knit. But what makes this hat so special, I believe, is its brim. And it's got this fabulous folded brim. Oh, God, hold it to the camera, Rory. Fabulous folded brim. And it's amazing, and it sits beautifully. So this is great for Vintage Abroad 10-ply, but you could also knit this using Kelly & Co. So that's called the February hat. So that is one option. The other one that I think is really fantastic for this, and if you look up, I see a lot of patterns with this knitted, is the Antler Toque, which is from Tin Can Knits, and they also have Barley as well, which is a very famous pattern from them. And let's jump back here. Right. And as you can see, I've been looking at things ahead of time for you. The other two that I looked at was this one here called Mason's Hat. Now, this is designed by Carol Feller. And the reason I've gone and pulled this hat, and in fact, the colour that the model is wearing is Morn, which we do have in stock. The reason I grabbed this one is because Carol knits a lot with this Donegal soft merino yarn that we have. And it is just, she's brilliant at it, and as you can see, she's actually used that firmer tension at 3.75 and 4mm needle because it does work exceptionally well. This one was from the Interweave Knits holiday collection, which you can buy there, but you can also purchase just the pattern on its own, and it says here fully reversible in the round from bottom up, and it's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So that was one that I thought was fab. The other one that I thought was pretty darn good too, that will work fabulously in Kelly & Co. is this one here from Brooklyn Tweed. See, October 2010. Sometimes it pays to go back a little bit back in history. This is a classic from Jared Flood. As you can see, that looks like the lovely Olga. It is the lovely Olga. As you can see, it's a really gorgeous, beautiful cabled hat. That would be amazing in this. Absolutely amazing. And it uses, there you go, 128 meters. So a single skein will knit this hat and have it looking $1 million. So that is definitely well worth checking out. You could also do this in Carnival if you wanted, from Libby. And then the other hat I really liked that Libby had was this one here, was Reminiscence. I think this would look amazing in this, in the Kelly & Co. at that firmer tension, 3.75 and 4mm, like Carol Feller. But it's just this really beautiful hat with a lovely cable portion, and then these big, wide sort of rims around the outside. And again, this is another hat that I think that would look really, really, really pretty, and 166 meters. So you know you've got plenty with a single skein of Kelly & Co. Okay, now I did see someone asked me, there was a question there before, do you have any pretty hats to use for 2-needle knitters? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And you're going to have to tolerate this because it's one of mine I'm going to show you. And did I actually pull it up and look at it before I came in here? No, I didn't, so I'm going to have to go here. This is one, I've knitted this for both 2 needles and 1 needle. 2 needles. Oh, for goodness sake. I do not know why it's doing this. Pain in the bottom. Okay, there it is. So this is called Harding Road. There you go, 2017. So what's that, 5 years ago I did this? God, 5 years. Where's it gone? This was a hat. We had a limited edition DK run of yarn come out. Gosh, and I can tell you how old this is because that photograph was taken in my old office over at the mill. And I love this. I've also got another hat, and it's called Busky's Best Baby's Beanie. And this is essentially the adult version of that pattern in a slouchy version. So this one here is knitted in the round, but this one I also knitted. This one here is knitted and seamed. So I've done the instructions for both. And in fact, I think somewhere in the deep, dark annals of time, and it's possibly on my Instagram profile, not necessarily Skeinz, I actually showed the mattress stitching on this particular hat. Now this one is knitted in, and you can see by the sort of fluff and the bloom, this is knitted in Bohemia and ambrotype, I can never pronounce it, which was one of the colours that Deb had. And I've just gone and taken the colour portion here from scraps of yarn, literally, that I had in my scraps bin. You only need around 30 grams of each colour for the colour portion here. And this little tessellating pattern is just fun. It's just a really fun stitch pattern. It looks... when you stand from looking at it from afar, it kind of looks like diamonds and arrows. I've also done this tessellating pattern in a cow design, which is on my round 2 at Pan. I haven't yet got it written up. I will one of these days. I did that a few years ago. You know, it's on the when Marie gets a shit together plan. But this hat, and you can use this hat. You don't have to do the colour work. Okay, so you don't have to do the colour work. You can just use this hat as a 2-needle template if you wanted. Best of all is it's free. So you can just download that PDF for free from Ravelry. So that's my little gift to you guys on that. If you're needing a 2-needled pattern. An elephant in your library. Yeah, there's plenty of those in my library, trust me. Right, I did have a couple of other hats that I wanted to show you, and because I have got also, we have got a little bit of knits left, not a lot. A little, we've probably got a garment lots. I grabbed these two. We might not have a garment lot left in this, but definitely in this, and I think. Actually, let's check. Let's not guess, Marie. Let's check. We'll see what we've got available. But NYX is amazing for hats, and I wanted to have a look at. So any of the hats that I've shown you in DK will work fantastically well in NYX. In fact, the Kiwi hat from Charles with those travelling stitches on a firmer tension in NYX with the reflectiveness of the silk will look utterly incredible. So that is certainly one to consider. Right, we've got Talisman and Bone, and we've only got a little bit of Irene and a little bit of Fog left, and that's it. Okay, so but Talisman and Bone, we have got garment lots if you're wanting those. So the hat I wanted to show you with, particularly with the Talisman, I've knitted this hat. I love it. In fact, I nearly bought it. I knitted it in Orb Gold, and it looked amazing. It's an enjoyable hat to knit. There's also an entire pattern collection that goes with that hat, and it is this one here. I have talked about this one before, but it's the beeswax hat from Amy Vanderlaar. And as you can see, I mean, it's just gorgeous. It uses this beautiful, here we go, and this is the full collection. There's also a beeswax cowl, beeswax mitts, and this beautiful beeswax hat. It uses really simple travelling stitches to create a hexagonal, 3-dimensional patterning on the hat. It's very, very enjoyable to knit. I really did enjoy knitting it. And as you can see, that's a great shot. I mean, that gives you a really good idea of what Talisman would look like in that. And again, the reflective nature of the silk in that on that beautiful textured stitching, which almost looks applique because it sits out from the knitting due to the travelling. Looks incredible. And also too, here you go, this is one that's using a little speckled yarn, but that and fog too that we've got would look amazing, or even bone. Like, it's just beautiful. See here, when it's a different color, it almost looks like flowers, as opposed to, you sort of see honeycomb when you see it in a yellow, but you see it in a different color and it almost looks like a series of flowers. It's a really, really pretty wee pattern. That is a great one if you're wanting to look for something with this. And speaking of, I did mention before, right, that I had a garment lot. This just dropped from Kate Davies. Is that not gorgeous? And does that not have talisman written all over it? So I know I showed you the Geiger cardigan when this came out from Nora Gowan. The Geiger cardigan is a labour of love. This is from Kate Davies. It's called Glenanne. This is just absolutely beautiful. It's a little sleeveless hooded vest, perfect for this time of year, whether you're in if you're spring or autumn conditions. Beautiful classic cables. I would say that this would be an absolute pleasure to knit. So Kate Davies Designs, it is using anywhere from the smaller size from 880 metres up to 1500 metres, and you are looking at a very generous 200 metres per ball. So 4 to 5 balls for the smaller size, and then so up to 8 balls for the bigger sizes, and that will be because of that hood. But you know what, if you have done some modifications, you could probably modificate that hood out of there, and you would need to that would negate out probably a couple of balls of yarn for you. Absolutely beautiful, stunning. Let's have a look at that hood. Yeah, it's beautiful hood, but you could easily, I would have thought, yeah, there you go. You could easily create just a standard neckline around there, pick up that ribbing if you wanted to not have the hood, and save yourself some yarn. So that is utterly beautiful. So I know it's not a hat. Well, it is a hat because it's got a hood. There you go. But as soon as I saw it, as soon as I saw that colour, I just thought of this talisman straight away. And as I said, we do have a couple of garment lots left of this. So check that one out. So much today. So much to show you. It's been great. Absolutely looks great. I don't think I've got any others. I think that was, yes, everything that I've got there. So do make sure that if you are wanting to get some of this, that you jump on and get it quickly. I know one of the colours that's only got a couple of dozen skeins, so do get onto these really quick. If you are wanting to knit something a little bit bigger, there is the new shawl out from Good to Go Knits, and its name is just eluding me. If someone in there can remember the name. It's the brand new one. I think it's something like Reflection Shawl, but it's knitted in a DK, and it's got some beautiful elongated stitches in there. It's a really relaxing knit. So Good to Go Knits from Bronwyn Carroll. This would look amazing in something like that. But if you're wanting to do a garment in these, because the colours vary so much, you need to be aware of that. So you may need to play around with some fading and blending techniques. So don't expect every single hank, if you're buying more than one, to be just like the other, because they're not. They're all complete individuals. Margaret's asking when the Southlander is coming. That's a good question, Chief. When is the Southlander coming? Did you hear the sigh? Did you hear the sigh from here? I know it's.
I've asked for it sooner rather than later, but
it's so this is, we know that it's bald, don't we? It's just not been gone through the final stage of packing, hasn't it?
No, some of it's not even dyed yet, so because it's a lot of colours we're waiting on.
No, I'm talking about the male. I think
the
males. It's with photography. With photography, that's where that is. There we go. I knew that. I'd have an answer for that. And the other Southlander, you're talking about like the bulkies, the stag, yeah. Without it, yeah, they're coming. Oh, there we go. Whispering Hope. Thank you, Kathy. That's the name of the that is the name of that shawl pattern from Bromwell. Whispering Hope. I knew it's a great pattern. Yes, they are coming. They are coming. I promise they're coming. And yes, we've got more Southlander coming in normal colours as well. And we've got other new stuff coming too later in the month. So exciting. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking so I can get my skates on and get more stuff. Get a Hattitude newsletter out for you. But in the meantime, enjoy some of those. Check out, see what you've got lurking around in stash. You've got anything need cleaning up, go and get that out and get it knitted up. Or if you feel like treating yourself, jump onto the sale page and check out those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ones. Margaret, the mail I've been teasing. Yeah, I know. Look, and I've got 2 of them sitting there. I know. They're coming. Yeah, literally, we've just got them with photography, and then hopefully soon, very, very soon. I promise. Until then, have a great week. I will talk to you again on Thursday.